Is your bird acting differently? Ignoring you, biting more, or refusing to come close? These could be the early warning signs that your bird is losing trust in you, and if you don't catch them now, your bond could be gone forever. You love your bird, right? But did you know that making just one of these 5 mistakes could ruin your relationship forever? Watch closely. Avoiding these is crucial for keeping your bird happy and your bond strong, because there are some things that your bird will never forgive you for doing. Rage taming. Trying to tame your bird out of frustration or impatience. You should stop right there. Birds are sensitive creatures and can sense your emotions. Some people rage tame their birds and only create fear and distrust. Rushing or forcing your bird will damage your relationship. Take a deep breath, be calm, and build trust slowly. It's the only way to a happy, bonded relationship with your feathered buddy. Ignoring your bird's fear. Loud noises like vacuum cleaners or raising your voice can turn your bird's world upside down. If your bird is hiding or fluffed up, they're scared. Ignoring these fears can break their trust in you. Make sure their environment is calm and quiet, or you'll be dealing with a permanently stressed bird. Too many birds in one cage. Is your bird's cage too small, or your big aviary is overcrowded with birds? Your pet bird needs space to move, stretch, and play. A cramped cage can lead to stress and health problems, and so does a big aviary or a big cage that is too full of birds. Make sure your bird has a spacious and comfortable living environment. Don't let overcrowding make your bird miserable and nervous. Clipping wings. Many people are tempted to clip their bird's wings, but this can actually cause serious harm to your bird. Birds are meant to fly, and clipping their wings can lead to stress and mobility issues. Imagine someone cutting off your ability to walk. Don't clip those wings unless you want to see your bird miserable and grounded for life. Forcing new people on your bird. Forcing your bird to interact with new people or pets. Birds are cautious and need time to warm up to new faces. So whenever your friends are visiting, shoving your bird into new interactions with them can cause massive anxiety. Respect your bird's space and let them approach new friends at their own pace. Don't be the reason your bird lives in constant fear. You and your bird should be a loving family, but sometimes birds have enough of their owners. This could be temporary reaction if your bird is annoyed with you at the moment, but it could also be that it generally doesn't like you anymore because you behave too often in a way that makes it feel uncomfortable. How can you tell if your bird has had enough? In this video, I'll show you 11 behaviors that show your bird is tired of you. It's avoiding you. Your bird is constantly getting away from your hand and starts panicking every time you hang around its cage or enter your hand. It's aggressive. If your bird suddenly starts to bite more, peck you, or even lunging towards you, that could mean it had enough and isn't interested in your annoying behavior. It's feather plucking. There are a lot of reasons for feather plucking in birds, but one of them can be related to a stressful time your bird is going through because of things you're doing that make it uncomfortable. It's squawking or screaming. This is a common trait with larger birds that had enough with their owners. They will usually start screaming more often as a sign of rebellion and anger. It's pacing back and forth. Have you ever seen your bird walk back and forth on the same perch inside their cage? This is a clear sign of frustration. It's ignoring commands. If your bird used to be very disciplined and following your commands, and now out of nowhere it's starting to disobey, that could be a major sign that it's tired of you. Turning its back on you. This is another common trait with larger birds. A tired and depressed bird will usually turn its back on you whenever they're inside their cage. They won't look at you or pay attention to you when you call them. It's hiding. Your bird will try to find spots in its area that are more difficult for you to get into, like sitting behind the curtain or perching on your light fixture. Aggressive playtime. Birds that have had enough of their owners will also play differently. They will tear up anything in their way in a very aggressive manner, and they will also start biting their cage bars. It's fleeing from you. If your bird is outside the cage and it starts flying all over the house anxiously whenever you approach, that could be a sign that it doesn't trust you. Escape attempts. Lastly, if your bird is seriously in a bad condition, it will do whatever it takes to try and escape its cage or even your house. One of the biggest letdowns in having a bird is when it starts to ignore you and you feel like you don't have something to work with. It doesn't want you to tame it, won't eat from your hands, and don't get me started on petting it or even touching it. A bird that doesn't interact with its owner is just meh. Here's how to fix it. Your bird doesn't feel like it. Birds are queen moves, and apparently we gotta respect that. Sometimes your bird just isn't up for hanging out. If it's sleepy or not feeling great, it might stay on its perch and not engage with you. This is totally normal. It means you need to give your bird some time to start being active again. It's mating season. Birds go through hormonal changes every few months, which can make them less interested in socializing, so it can make your bird territorial. You'll see your bird humping on its toys a lot during this time, and it will totally ignore you. Only thing you can do is just wait it out. Your bird needs change. Birds need mental stimulation and social interaction to stay happy. If your bird isn't getting enough of either, it will get bored and lose interest in hanging out with you. Bird owners should constantly be on the hunt for new toys and creative playgrounds. Your bird is still getting used to you. Building a bond with your bird takes time. If you've recently adopted your bird or haven't spent much time with it, it might not want to interact with you much at first. To build trust, spend more time near your bird without pushing for interaction. Offer treats or toys and talk to it softly. Over time, your bird will start associating you with good experiences. Your bird is nervous. Birds can get scared easily. If your bird is nervous, it might hide in its cage and avoid you. That's why it's important to always be gentle with birds. If you're being too pushy, loud, or making sharp movements, it will freak out your bird. Our feathered friends make wonderful companions, but although they're adorable in their own way, they're known to be temperamental, with a long list of things they aren't keen on. In this video, I've put together 8 things your bird hates about you. We're big and frightening. It does not matter if you have a parakeet or a bigger parrot. You will always be larger than your bird. In your bird's eyes, you're big, scary, and unpredictable. And that is why many bird owners struggle with gaining their bird's trust. We smell funny. Birds have a highly sensitive sense of smell. They can literally smell odors from the other side of the house. If you've ever noticed your bird is keeping its distance away from you, then you should make sure you're not using any perfumes or other strong and unfamiliar fragrances around your bird. We're too needy. It's easy to think that our birds are small and that we can do anything to them whenever we feel like it. But we should remember that behind our birds, there is a complete personality with wills, thoughts, and emotions. So next time you want to grab your bird or force it into doing something, remember that you could be bothering it. We touch confusing spots. This is a mistake that many owners continue doing. Whenever you pet your bird, you should know that there are some areas that are a no-no and you should avoid touching. For example, touching your bird's back causes sexual arousal and confuses them. Some birds also don't like being touched around their feet and tail. We introduce them to predators. Another thing birds hate about us is when we introduce them to a new dog, cat, or any other animal that could be a potential predator. Putting your bird under stress because of a nearby unfamiliar creature is not a good idea, and if you have a new pet in the family, the introduction with your birds should be slow and careful. We're talking on the phone. One of the most annoying things we do to our pet birds is talk on the phone while we're nearby them. Many owners report that as soon as they're talking on the phone, their birds start yelling and screaming until they either leave the room or end the call. We're isolating them. To this day, there are lots of owners that continue to keep their birds caged all the time. Birds are birds, and they're meant to fly, run around the house, and explore new areas and things to do. A bird that is permanently kept caged is a sad and depressed bird. We're getting into their personal space. Your bird should always have a safe area. Most birds consider their cages as their safe zone. It's the area where they can eat and sleep safely without being bothered, grabbed, or being stressed. So always remember to respect your bird's personal space and environment.